The city of Ayodhya is completely illuminated. The streets are lined with thousands of oil lamps, celebrating the upcoming coronation of their beloved prince, Ram. For King Dasharatha, this is the absolute pinnacle of his life. After decades of ruling, his greatest dream is finally coming to pass. But the celebration stops cold the moment Dasharatha walks into the chambers of his favorite queen, Kaikeyi. She is not preparing for the festival. She is sitting on the floor of the royal chamber of anger. Her hair is disheveled, her jewelry is cast aside, and she is furious. Years earlier, Queen Kaikeyi had saved Dasharatha's life on a battlefield. In gratitude, the king granted her 2 boons. These were essentially blank checks, unbreakable promises she could cash in whenever she chose. On the eve of the coronation, she cashes them in with brutal precision. First, her own son, Bharat, will take the throne instead of Ram. Second, Ram is to be banished to the Dandaka forest for 14 years, immediately. Dasharatha physically freezes. He commands an entire empire, yet the floor instantly drops out from under him. He is entirely paralyzed, trapped by the absolute sanctity of the words he spoke years ago. The king is immediately caught in a fatal contradiction. To maintain his standing as a righteous sovereign, he must banish the son he loves. To act as a loving father, he must break a sacred vow. He cannot survive doing both. For a ruler of the ancient Raghuvanshi lineage, a promise is not a negotiable political contract that can be broken or debated. It operates as an absolute cosmic law. Their word is considered stronger than life itself. Kaikeyi knows exactly how this works, and she flawlessly weaponizes this identity against her husband. She reminds him that his ancestors never, in the history of their dynasty, broke a promise. She forces him to stand by his word. An ancient king's existence rests perfectly balanced on a fulcrum. On one side, cosmic law. On the other, lineage. When Kaikeyi drops her demands onto the side of cosmic law, the system cannot hold. The lineage side violently shatters. A win-win outcome is impossible. In the aftermath of this trap, the persona of the infallible king evaporates entirely. What remains on the floor is a broken, weeping father. He grasps Kaikeyi's feet. He begs her, offering to trade his own life, his wealth, and his entire kingdom to let Ram stay. Kaikeyi's strategy succeeds completely because it ignores his flaws. Instead, it takes his greatest virtue, his absolute devotion to the truth, and turns it into the exact mechanism that destroys him. By morning, Ram enters the chamber. The contrast is stark. The prince arrives with his usual calm, serene smile, stepping into a room where his father's physical and mental state has completely collapsed. Gripping his son's arms, Dasharatha reaches an extreme depth of desperation. He explicitly begs Ram to commit treason, rebel, and seize the kingdom by force. This creates a secondary paradox, transferring the trap directly to Ram. If he obeys the formal decree, he accepts a brutal life in the wild. If he obeys his weeping father's plea, he commits treason and ruins his father's historical legacy by making him a liar. Ram makes his decision immediately. With a calm smile, he agrees to the 14-year exile. He sees the trap and he intentionally steps right into it to take the punishment. He does not do this out of blind subservience. It is an active, calculated decision. Ram realizes his father is paralyzed by the dilemma, so the son decides to absorb the agonizing cost to protect the king's honor and rescue him from the catastrophic sin of breaking a vow. Dasharatha's complete failure to resolve his human dilemma requires his son to willingly carry the unbearable weight of the truth. That specific sacrifice is exactly where Ram's greatness as a deity originates. The physical execution of the exile is swift. Ram, along with his wife Sita and his brother Lakshmana, strip away their silk garments and royal jewelry. They replace them with the rough, bark-colored robes of forest ascetics. Out in the streets of Ayodhya, the atmosphere is devastating. Citizens weep, plead, and cling to their prince, unwilling to let him go. The sheer collective trauma of the entire city stems directly from the weight of one unbroken promise. The final image of Dasharatha is haunting. He is completely mute, standing alone in the grand doorway of his stone palace, paralyzed as he watches his life and joy disappear into the distant wilderness. Dasharatha manages one final physical action. He raises a trembling hand to bless his son one last time. And then the hand falls. His heart physically breaks under the immense pressure of his own duty. We often assume that doing the right thing, or fulfilling our moral duty, brings a sense of inner peace or satisfaction. We expect virtue to yield a clear conscience. Dasharatha's story proves that ultimate moral duty often requires enduring visceral, unbearable agony. And it is precisely that agonizing sacrifice that sets the moral stage for the entire epic of the Ramayana.
Don't forget to subscribe.